bunch of hearings going on in Washington, D.C. right now. We have Congressman Andy Biggs, who's in on them. This morning, the House Oversight and Reform Committee will hold a hearing on gun violence. Now, I don't have any objection to holding hearings on congressional hearings on crime and on violence, on guns in America. But I kind of having a problem with the Democrats exploiting children. I believe they're going to interview some children as well, some children that were in the latest big mass shooting. Is that true, Congressman Andy Biggs?
Yes, James T., it is true. It's really disturbing. I mean, they're going to bring in a child who was in the school and was victimized and traumatized, and they're going to bring that child in, and the child's going to testify for a couple of minutes and recount what happened. And then they're going to bring in parents of a child who was killed there, and they're going to recount what was happened. So you're bringing people in who were traumatized, victimized, and you're exploiting them, not because we can talk policy change. In fact, we'll be debating on the floor today and tomorrow policy changes, but this is meant to help this chairman, this particular committee chairman, who's in a hot political primary. With the judiciary chairman. So they're both going back and forth so you can out left wing each other. But this is exploitative. In my opinion, it's child abuse, James.
Congressman, I don't think everybody is buried yet there. I might be wrong about that, but I mean, we're still so very close to this. And it's like you're going to have some child come up there and relive that to explain this to the committee. I'm kind of stunned by all of this. It's like how low can the left go? How low can Democrats go? What are they not willing to use to advance their narrative?
It's like nothing. The ends justify any means. I mean, that's really where they are, and their ends is to maintain power and control over American people or maintain their own individual power base here. It's absolutely, in my opinion, it's obscene. And so I've told them I will watch the first panel, which is where these victims are going to be on the televised closed circuit television that we have. But I'm not going to go down there and dignify that kind of exploitation. I'll be down for the second panel, which is adults talking of you police chief talking about what he thinks needs to be done. People who were victimized years ago talking about how they've coped and what they think needs to happen. That's important for this, but this notion that you should just bring these individuals in is just, in my opinion, it's obscene.
I completely understand that move as you're describing the whole thing. I got sick to my stomach. I don't know if I would be able to sit there and handle that. I just wouldn't. We have Congressman Andy Biggs in the center ring. Let me change gears on you. 15,000 migrants are headed to our southern border. We don't really have a border, but that's where they're going to end up. Do we know where our president is? What is he doing to stop this?
He's ordering a double pistachio and vanilla ice cream or something like that. I mean, he's doing nothing. And so you've got the 15,000, but, my sources down in the Darien Gap, which is in Panama, there's literally hundreds of thousands of people pouring through there, and they're, those countries in Panama and Costa Rica, they do what's called a controlled release, and so they're releasing so many a day. They're forming up in south part of Mexico, creating new caravans. So you've got this big one coming up. It'll take them 30 days to get here, and then you're going to have additional caravans coming. This administration is AWOL, and not only are they AWOL, they're deliberately enticing people to come into our country. And they said they campaigned on it. They're doing exactly what they said. This is an open border. That's what they wanted.
They have the open border. They have more and more people coming through. I've asked the question many times. I mean, how long can this be sustained? When Republicans win the House and the Senate back in November, are there plans to override the president's orders to bring some sanity and some security back to the border?
Yeah, I'm trying to organize now and remind my colleagues that there are leverage points that we will have to engage in to basically override the president and start peeling this back. And that means that you basically can't acquiesce to anything this administration wants to do, because as you do so, everything they're doing is as a policy has a political motivation, and that political motivation is to dismantle the American state, and that's where they are.
Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi and the crew are gearing up for their big blockbuster. They even hired a producer for the January 6th primetime committee hearing. Do you have your popcorn, Congressman?
I'm afraid I was joking on it. I mean, look, you understand this. So they're doing watch parties at 100 different venues and theaters around the country, and so they got the Hollywood producer that's coming in to try to make Liz Cheney charismatic. That's an impossible task, but they're trying to do this because they want to elevate this and produce the narrative. I mean, they've admitted that they're narrative building. They have admitted that, and so when you're trying to build a narrative, you got to have a blockbuster, I guess, and the facts are going to be underwhelming. I mean, look. You've seen President Trump authorized up to 20,000 National Guard troops 2 days before January 6th, and both Pelosi and Bowser said, no, we don't want them. They're not releasing all the video, all the tapes. They basically, this is being done to purge Congress and America, if they could, of people who supported the America First agenda of President Trump.
You know, Congressman, I don't think anybody's going to be at the watch parties, or they're not going to be well attended, and maybe they'll lie to us and say, oh, it was like an opening night for a summer blockbuster. But the American people, if you're looking at polls, they don't really care about January 6th. So I have to ask the question, is this still a dangerous move that is being made against Republicans because of their trying to get rid of the Electoral College, trying to kill off the America First policy, trying to take out politicians that support Trump? Do they have a shot, or is it just theater?
Well, it is. All of their stuff is just theater. What they're doing is they've weaponized this whole thing. So, you saw what they did to Peter Navarro. You've seen what they're trying to do to people like me and Scott Perry and Jim Jordan and Kevin McCarthy. You see that happening. And that's because they view us as dangerous leaders who help lead the conservative movement. And so if they want to destroy us personally, they would love to put us in jail if they could. There is absolutely no substance to their story. But if they can, they want to distract from what everybody does care about, and that's the inflation,
right?
The economy, the border, high crime rates, the Ukraine war. They want to basically distract from a plethora of bad policy, James.
And I don't think they're going to be able to do that, because even if folks are going out to see the big blockbuster on the way home when they gas up, they'll be reminded of what really is important in this country. Congressman Andy Biggs, I want to thank you very much for what you're doing for the country, what you're doing for the great state of Arizona.